So at this point, we're going to call all the kids up to take a picture, right? So with or without your costumes, please come on up, because after the picture, we're going to have the kids go to do their Halloween stuff.
Yeah, we'd like to get a photo up front here with Allison, Sensei, and myself, and all the children, before the children go off to the classrooms, where they will eat candy and play games and go through a haunted house. And you will sit here and listen to Allison, Sensei, and I talk.
Which is your treat for today? Ali says it's a treat now. Take a picture.
Am I supposed to be back here? Oh, yeah.
Okay, if you want to take your photos now, some of the children will leave. Get them while we're all here.
Okay, I think we're moving right along.
At least I got some.
Carla, did you get a good shot? You get a good shot? We're still waiting. Still waiting on you. Still waiting on them. Okay. Yeah. This is one of the preliminary ones. We'll take the preliminary ones in case some of the children who are here now walk away when the children were joining us. Enough room for it up here.
Almost there.
Almost there. Everyone who hasn't applied for Social Security yet can leave now, except for Allison and who else we have? Ray. Yeah. Just a couple of you under the age. We are going to do another double talk like we did last week. We're going to usually do this probably through the end of the year. Two of us will probably speak. We're going to hope to get Kathy Mikuni involved in another week or two. But for today, I'll go ahead and let you know that our minister's assistant, certified minister's assistant, Allison Yasaki, is going to give the first talk, and then I will give a brief talk myself as well. So if I may call Allie forward. No.
Okay. Thank you again for allowing me to talk today. I will go ahead and start with Nembutsu, and then I will read the translated version of the passage I'm going to go through, and then I'll continue with my message. So first off, Gasho, Namo Amida Butsu.
No, we don't.
Namo Amida Butsu.
No, we don't.
Namo Amida Butsu.
No, we don't.
No.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
The directing of virtue has two aspects, that for going forth to the Pure Land and that for our return to this world. Directing for going forth means to give one's virtues to all sentient beings and to aspire to bring them all to the birth in the Amida Tathagata's Pure Land of happiness. So the passage that I quoted today is from Shinran Shonin, who is the founder of our school of Buddhism, Jodo Shinshu, who wrote the work known as Kyogyo Shinsho, or the true teaching, practice, and realization of the Pure Land Way. And the passage that I quoted is found in one of the 6 chapters, the chapter on faith. So as we have mentioned today, this coming Friday is Halloween. And when we think about Halloween, some of us associate the holiday with the horror and supernatural items. But the fun part, of course, is the costumes and the candy. Some of the most popular things that we see at Halloween are typically the pumpkins, the skeletons, and the ghosts. Speaking of skeletons and ghosts, today I'd like to talk about a Disney Pixar movie called Coco. And this movie is about a boy named Miguel who comes from a long line of shoemakers and whose family forbids them to hear or play music in any form. No CDs, no guitars, no radio, none of the fun stuff. Miguel feels trapped and is unable to express himself because he can't openly play music or hear music in any form. Because he needs music in his life, he secretly learns and practices the guitar to play music performed by Ernesto de la Cruz, who is a very famous musician who long since passed. He finds his opportunity to pursue his talents through a local talent show. But the guitar that he secretly had was destroyed by his family, so he is unable to perform in that local talent show and to show off the music that he knows and understands. He frantically goes through the community trying to find a guitar. Hey, do you have a guitar I can borrow? Hey, do you have a guitar I can borrow? And is unable to find one. But earlier in the day, he saw a torn picture from his family's ofrenda, or the family altar, and he notices that a guitar that he saw is similar to the one that Ernesto had. And so he attempts to break into the mausoleum to use that guitar for the local talent show. And he also believes that Ernesto is his great-great-grandfather. Without spoiling too much more of the movie, the biggest problem in the story is that Miguel is trying to find his great-great-grandfather in the land of the dead so that he can receive a family's blessing to return to the land of the living before sunrise so that he is able to play music. Because other family members that he met in the land of the dead won't send him back to the land of the living unless he tells them and promises them that he will not play music. Through this conflict, Miguel learns the truth about why his family has banned music and learns how much his family actually means to him. So, why do I bring up this movie, besides the fact that it's usually associated with Halloween? While we cannot actually talk or see those who have passed like Miguel did in the movie, we can still learn so much from them. Those who have gone before us are still able to teach us much about who we are, while showing us what made us what we are. Sure, we might not be able to ask our great-great-grandparents, hey, what's your favorite color? Or what was a typical day at work for you? But we can reflect on those things that allowed us to be here and now. We might even learn that they, perhaps, even helped shape the world that we live in now, like how there's a temple here and now, when before there wasn't. In Jodo Shinshu, the virtues of Amida are directed in two parts. First is Shinjin, or this heart that we are helped to receive and that can my words are really bad today, that can fully put their trust in Amida and allow us to be born into Amida's Pure Land after we physically pass away. We learn through faith that our lives just don't end and disappear. The second part of Amida's virtue is our return to this world. We return to help share the Dharma, and in particular, Amida's teachings. These teachings are also present in the services that we have here: funerals, memorial services, our Shotsuki services, special services like last week's Eshini Kakushini service and BWA past member memorial service, or even just regular Sunday services like today. However, these aspects are not just limited to the services that we have. The teachings of the Buddha are all around us. We just need to be able to hear and to receive it. Why these teachings? Namo Amida Butsu arose because Amida Buddha wanted to make sure that we, as Bonbu, or foolish beings, realize how much suffering we have and to be saved from that suffering. As we gather today at Pasadena Buddhist Temple, hopefully we are being reminded that even though we are unable to see those who have passed before us, how we can also see how they are constantly showing us how they just didn't disappear. They are helping us to recognize that they are not fully gone. They are still here. Through Namo Amida Butsu, we will discover that we are still learning so much from them. And we are constantly being helped to see how we are not only being saved from our suffering, but how we may also be able to help others to be saved from their suffering as well, just like them. And with that, thank you very much. I am going to conclude my very short talk here, and I will close my talk with Nembutsu, so if you can join me. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you very much, Ali, for that very meaningful and focused talk. Succinct and meaningful, very good. I'm going to speak too. I don't know if it'll be succinct, but won't be as long as I usually am. I try to not put excessive length into today's comments, but I did tell you last week that I'd be speaking today, and so I will. I also want to pause to thank everyone. I want to thank Allison for her meaningful Dharma message. And I want to thank Alan Goto for doing the videography and the tech support, Howard Hayes for being our organist, Jeannie Toshima for being our chairperson, and Kathy Mikuni for arranging the chair people for us, getting that all organized. Even though I'm not going to talk too long, I'm going to have three things I'm going to tell you today, talk about. Firstly, that the crucial aspect of being alive is recognition, the recognition of other living beings. This is crucial, that there's nothing more important in this than like, hey, there you are, hi, here I am. That's really it, you know. What a phrase that I like from noir cinema is from the movie and the novel After Dark, My Sweet. The one character says at one point, you know how some things that aren't true are truer than things that are true? Which makes you go, yeah, well, but yeah, and I'll give you an example of something that's not literally true, but it's true. A teacher, long gone, a Zen teacher from Kyoto, had said that we really can't say anything. Human beings aren't really intelligent enough to really convey anything. All we can really say is, hello, thank you for being so nice to me. Hello, thank you for being so mean to me. I mean, that's not literally true, but it's truer than a lot of things. It's truer than most things that are true. That's all it is. Hello, thank you for being here. Hi, good to see you. That is life. That is one point in life acknowledging the other point. That is what awakening is all about, being here together and valuing one another and acknowledging one another. So that's the first thing I have to say. The crucial aspect of being alive is to recognize one another. Secondly, Allison told you very important ways in which those we love are still here. My mother died in 1992 when I was in Japan studying for the ministry, and my first son was born in 1998, 6 years later. Then Ren was born in 2004. And so they never met my mother, they never met my father. My father died in 1994, again 4 years before Sho was born. But I look at Sho and I can see so much of my father in my older son. And my younger son is almost like a male copy of my mother. He's just every aspect, everything I loved about my mother is in Ren. And they never met her. He never met her. Sho never met my father. But I had these behaviors and these attitudes and these values that I gained from them that I expressed to my two sons, and so that does go on. That influence goes on. It is not dead. My mother is alive anytime that Ren is in the room. My father's alive anytime Sho's visiting us. So that's true, that's true. But I want to talk about another thing that's true, which is that we will inevitably be reunited with those we love who have preceded us in death. The third thing I'm going to toss in at the end is that our lives are positively transformed in awakening. We meet our loved ones again, but in better circumstances, in more fulfilling ways. But I want to really emphasize these two things, that we must recognize one another. That's absolutely central to what Buddhism is about. Seeing the other as valuable. Over there, there you are, hi, thanks for being here today. Here I am. That's really is, that's not all we can say, but it's the most important thing we can say. Hi, I'm glad you're here. I'm here too, These are kind of challenging ideas, but even so, I don't intend to speak at great length. So here we go. Each living being is one point in this great circle of life that the Buddha referred to as enlightenment. This one great circle of life the Buddha referred to as enlightenment or liberation. Each one of us is a point there. Every living being is one point in this circle. We can't leave anyone out. Now, the United States Marines have a principle of no man left behind, and that's a noble commitment. They don't decide who deploys and where. It's a noble commitment not to leave one of your fellow combatants behind. The Buddhist commitment is no living being left behind. And I mean your mother, your father, your favorite dog, your favorite cat, the dog you had that you kind of liked a little bit with the bad gassy old dog that you still loved him, but you didn't want to spend too much time with him. Everybody, every living being has to be drawn into the light. No living being left behind. That's the Buddhist commitment. Do we take this vision of things seriously? Do we mean it as seriously as the Marines mean it? Many times, Marines in combat have suffered grievously for their refusal to leave any combatant behind. When we say that the Bodhisattva vows, the vows fulfilled in Amida Buddha, include all living beings, we are really sharing that commitment of the Buddha to all others. Marines are supposed to bond with one another, and it's a noble commitment they make to one another, but we're supposed to bond with every living being. We can't leave anybody behind. We Buddhists have a very broad commitment, realizing that we must bond with all living beings, recognize them, acknowledge them, bond with them. We must recognize them as inseparable from us. And the second matter that I wanted to address is that this is connected to the inevitable reunion we have with those whom we have bonded with in this life. In the future, beyond the limits of our current lives, we must meet them again. Deep bonding makes reunion with, for example, your deceased parents or grandparents inevitable. We must see them again. In our hearts and minds, it must happen. How can that be? How can it happen? Now, if I myself were enlightened, I could give you hundreds of explanations, hundreds of envisionings, hundreds of intellectual models that map this, that explain how it is possible, but I'm not enlightened, so I'm going to give you three. That's all I got. That's all I got for you. Three ways of looking at this that I will suggest. How could you meet your mother if she's passed ahead of you? How could you meet your grandfather if he's already gone? One way to understand this is in terms of sequential next lives, but that's interesting. That of course, the Hindus think of this. You pass away, and then you got another life, and then you pass away. I got to tell you, the Theravadins have a pretty similar view. There are a lot of streams of Buddhism that have a pretty similar view. It's not reincarnation because death is thoroughgoing. Bam, we're gone. Rebirth is brand new life, brand new. But it's still, there's a similarity here of this sequential. That's a way of picturing things which can be useful. It's not that it's false. That sequential life. But one of the meanings here, and you'll find the Theravadins talk about this, so if you only think of it sequentially, you got one next life, then say you lost your mother, what's your relationship going to be with her next time out? Maybe you'll be the mother and she'll be your daughter this time, Maybe you'll be her favorite uncle. Maybe you'll change genders, We don't know. But that's one model, and we adopt that model. That's not untrue. We never denied that. The Buddha denied separate soul thing. He never denied multiple lives. So one way of picturing it, there'll be a next life and you'll have a specific relationship to her. A rather different image may come when we explain reunion in terms of the profound oneness of all things. This model of universality is very important in Mahayana Buddhism. It's taken very seriously. Life is like one vast ocean, and when I pass, I pop into the ocean, and then I pop out, and there's Mom again, and there you are, and there's my favorite dog from 1956. Everybody, every living thing in this great intermingling, one great ocean of life. This too is true. This is a valid way of understanding. With awakening at or preceding death, we will find ourselves popping in and out of this dynamic sea of becoming. And there's our mom over there, and our grandmother over there. They're still here. No one has gone away. More about that in future Dharma messages. The third of the three things I want to say here rather briefly today, in picturing reunion beyond death with those we love, in this model of a multiverse, we have many lives right now. In the model of a multiverse, this is the third model, we have multiple lives right now unfolding in various dimensions. If you want to get a feel for what a multiverse is, watch the second Doctor Strange movie, or Everything Everywhere All at Once, because that's very close to what we've been talking about for at least 2,300 years. Again, in Sino-Japanese, the Sanzen Daisen Sekai, this vast world. And as the Huayan tradition developed in China, commenting on this very old idea, Sanzen Daisen Sekai, you have the term in Pali and Sanskrit as well, that's the Sino-Japanese for it. The Huayan tradition realized that these multiple worlds, it isn't like that one's there and that one's here, they interpenetrate one another, they intermingle and influence one another. It's one great universe, Sanzen Daisen Sekai. And you have, it's not just, you don't need to just think about one life in the future when you might see your mom again. You are already with her in many lives, in many dimensions in this universe. There are many dimensions to our lives, our subjectivities evolving even now, developing even now. So this is another way of understanding how we could somehow be reunited with those we love as that urge within our hearts and minds tells us we must. But my last point then again is that those awoken future lives in which we will continue our connection with those we love will be transformed lives. They will be improved conditions. They will be fulfilling in every dimension. In the Pure Land, we are transformed. In the Pure Land, everybody's trans. You've got to change. You've got to let other people change. Be what they were urging to be. We're longing to be more than we are. We'll be transformed into Buddhas. And that is utter unlimited potentiality. We will be transformed in our future lives, and our future lives will be free of loss, full of tenderness and togetherness. Our future lives will be transformed into perfections of bonding. Enlightenment is bonding. Awakening is genuine affiliation. Buddhahood will be for us, and for those we love, all dreams come true. Whatever you think, it's more than that. Whatever you can imagine, it's more than that. And it's coming for you, it's coming for your children, for your mother, your father, everyone you love. Goodness is evolving out of these conditions, and we will awaken together with those we love. We will see the ones who passed ahead of us again, and we will watch over those who are still here. That's my Dharma message for today. I thank Allison Sensei for the lovely message she gave. I thank her for helping Kyoko to arrange the Naijin. I think it was Allison who put the Osanai, the beautiful mirroring fashion, 1, 2, 1, 2, very nice. Flowers are beautifully done. I can't do that. I really can't. If you gave me all week, I couldn't do that. So thank you all for your help. Thank you all for being here. I will close the Dharma message portion of the service with Gasho, as did Allison Sensei, and ask you to say the Nembutsu with me as you please, if you please. We rely upon the source of limitless wisdom and endless life. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Thank you very much.